what we want to get into, Minister, the income tax amendment bill and what happened in the parliament last Friday. Because we're not sure what happened, what was passed, how effective it will be.
Yeah. That was the subject of a discussion yesterday with us when Rhoda Barrett was here, and three of us were discussing it, and we weren't clear on, you passed something, but if you took out what required the majority, then what was left and what was the point? So that's what we really were unclear on. So
let me clarify some of it for you to the extent that I can. It was a 10-clause bill. The first 4 clauses were like the short title, the long title, proclamation date, inoperative typicalities in every law, or most. The last 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 had to do with FATCA replications. We had passed the FATCA law earlier, and the UNC were made by the public, bankers and others, to come in and support it. So they were very familiar with the terms. We actually cut and paste because the FATCA law related specifically to the United States. And this global forum OECD/global forum, they deal with more the European countries and other countries of the world, but largely out of Europe as opposed to America. And we just replicated the FATCA provision because both Global Forum and FATCA, the United States, is about tax exchange of information.
Yeah.
So having gone there before, we had those are, so the only clause that was different or of noteworthiness in that 10-clause bill was clause number 5, which was designed to amend Section 4 of the Income Tax Act, Chapter 7501. That clause, Section 4 of the existing Income Tax Act, because what we had on Friday was an amendment bill to amend that act.
Yeah.
What we were attempting to do in that clause 5 by way of amendment is to water down the secrecy provision of Section 4. Section 4 essentially said that no person or authority in the Inland Revenue Department could or should share any information coming to his or her disposal by virtue of the work they do in the Inland Revenue with any other person other than that which is authorized in that law by the President. The President would list the persons to whom you can give that information.
Okay.
So we were watering that provision down to allow the Inland Revenue to give information to 2 entities, the police and the FIU. We were doing that for good reason. One, because the global forum, the OECD countries we were now engaging, they said to us, having seen that, because when you engage them, they look at your domestic law to see the extent to which you have complied with or are complying with your international obligation, in this case, to freely exchange tax information with each other, 154 countries. So any company registered in those countries or citizen of those countries who uses our system here and hides money, escapes tax evasion in their country, lodges it here, any information should be any company operating here from Switzerland, from France, from Djibouti in Africa, any country of the 154 who has a company operating here, their tax information should be revealed to their tax authorities in their country so their country could know how much they're actually earning, and they can't lie and say I only get 1 million when they got 100 million, because they have to pay taxes to their country. And needless to say, taxes are critical for every country, because as you want road, as you want light, as you want education, as you want healthcare, as you want security, as you want social security, a pension, and all the services that the citizens necessarily look to government for, is tax that's paid for that. Uncle Sam don't make no joke with he tax, everybody know that. Al Capone learned it early. Tax, right. So we were amending that Section 4 because they looked on our Section 4 and they saw that there was this confidentiality provision behind which their companies or individuals could hide. And they said, no, you won't be implementing this thing properly if you have that. So go ahead and amend that. So we went to Parliament before and on Friday to amend that to water down the secrecy provision. In addition to that, the police in this country were investigating a financial crime. And when they reached Inland Revenue, they found that block. No information for you, and it interfered with a big investigation in this country. We are aware of that. They too, they raised it with us. We didn't raise it, they raised it. But they do their research, as you know. And in addition to that, the FIU had told us, although we detected $22 billion between 17 and 18, between 16 and 17, because last year they told us that, they told us that in their report for the previous year, $22 billion in suspicious transactions. These were banks, credit unions, insurance companies, listed persons like real estate people, lawyers who deal with property transfers, money transfers, and all of these matters. They report of law, they report suspicious transactions. They have to under law to the FIU. 22 billion in suspicious transactions. And the FIU was telling the government, we are unable to really investigate these matters to its entirety and to deal with them properly because we too cannot get access to tax information. So there were 3 layers, let me just conclude to tell you now, of reasons as to why we were doing it. One, the international obligation to please the Global Forum, of which we are part, and we have to please them because we're playing with them, we're banking with them, we're trading with them. And if you're in that, you can't be talking sovereignty and don't get involved. You're involved. You're not sovereign when you're buying the goods and services and wearing your nice clothes and your nice car from the country. So sovereignty is a old-time thing. Credit card shopping and all that. That's one. The international obligation was one layer. Secondly, there's the domestic layer for the police to be able to not encounter a black hole and people hide behind that black hole or in it. And the FIU too. So that was the domestic issue. And yesterday at the Heads of Government Conference, gentlemen, I realized there's a regional dimension too. You know why? Barbados' Prime Minister, St. Lucia's Prime Minister, and others in the region yesterday told the forum at the Hilton that many of their countries have only been able to ward off, to postpone delisting and de-risking by these international institutions, In fact, one Prime Minister said in 15 days, that Prime Minister's country is likely to come under delisting, for all kinds of reasons.